Secretary Watson, tell us why ranked choice voting is a bad idea.
Well, I will tell you first and foremost, what they're going to tell you is it's going to get rid of these fringe candidates. And that's one of the biggest arguments they make. But if you look at the results, what it does is pretty much gets rid of conservative individuals being elected to office. And if it's, you talk about Alaska, you've talked about others. And Alaska is a great case where you had 3 individuals running for Congress. And so you go to this ranked choice, and just for your listeners to understand, you'll have a number of candidates for a certain office, and let's say it's 5 or 10. Well, you got to go in there, research all 5 or 10 candidates, or in this case, all 3 candidates. Make sure you understand who stands for what. So what you get a lot of times is this ballot exhaustion, where people are just, gosh, I got to keep ranking these people, and if it's 10. And you only rank the first 3, and then basically one of those 3 doesn't make it forward, and one of the other 7 did, you're disenfranchised. Your vote no longer counts. And that's exactly what happened in Alaska with this congressional election, where Sarah Palin was involved, and I can't remember the 2 candidates. The one that won was the Democratic candidate. But basically, there were enough Republican votes to win that election, but unfortunately, because of ranked choice voting, those votes for voters were disenfranchised. So it's not like you're coming out for a runoff to make sure you've got a selection between 2 individuals. Mm-hmm. If you didn't rank somebody, or if you didn't go through your entire ballot there, again, you don't have the choice to have a voice in that election. So you see a lot of ballot exhaustion, which means, again, you got to go through all 10 candidates or all 15 candidates or however many candidates there are per office. You got to research them, understand where they stand. You got to rank them. If you don't rank them all, again, if you go through this first count and the person with the least amount of votes, they're eliminated. Then you go to the next, say it's 10. Then you got 9 left, where you go through it again, and then you drop off the 9th one. You go through it again, drop off the 8th one. So it's a very complicated form of what they say is easy. It's not easy at all. You had a case in California where they got really confused on what they were doing. The candidate that actually won was told that they lost. They had to go through the court process to get the election overturned, again, because the wrong candidate was named the winner because the people were confused on how to do the ranking. And so it brings more problems than they say that this is easy and really brings out these fringe candidates, gets them out of the way to where we get somebody that's more in the middle. That's a great and comfortable selling point, but it's just not true. And so there's a lot of things that go on where voters are disenfranchised, and they tell people themselves, we're going to have to spend a lot of money educating people on how to even use this process. You see it so many times now, we take for granted people going out and voting at the polls. And if you think it's hard now that you can't go vote, and then you try to bring in a system like this, again, in my opinion, is slanted towards the left to get conservative people off the ballots, it just brings more confusion. It brings people, a lack of opportunities to really have their voices heard, because once you go through this ranking process, if you didn't rank everybody, then you're going to be eventually disenfranchised at some point or another. So it's a bad system. It's not good for conservative-minded individuals. I don't think it's good for anybody, Walker. So it's a bad thing, and something that we're going to try to bring legislation forth this year to ban it here in Mississippi before it ever becomes an issue.